From Senegal to Sugar Hill, trace the bloodline. 100 years of brilliance through the color line. They thought the shackles broke but kept the mental chain. Langston penned the future while they legislated pain. Harlem's ballrooms birthed the cosmos in mahogany, while lynching trees still decorated southern botany. Josephine, Waker's pearls, and Garvey's Navy ships. Du Bois debating destiny with scholarship on his lips. The Renaissance was a renaissance of West resistance, fam. Every trumpet blast from Armstrong was a battering ram. They gave us minstrel shows, we gave them Sora Neal. Turned depression into art, made the fabricated real. Cotton Club excluded us from tables every set. To form the Deanus Nightly, never free from the deck. But Bessie Smith could shatter glass, shatter cash, shatter lies. Every note she sang contained a revolution in disguise. Build temples from the rubble, make cathedrals from the struggle. Turn the margins to the center, now they study what we scribble. We build temples from the rubble, every generation double the inheritance of genius that they tried to keep us from. Fast forward through the decades, watch the pattern reassemble. Malcolm's speeches, Martin's marches, every voice begins to tremble to the earth until the structure shows its fractures. FBI was tracking every coon with every pastor, every actor. 40 acres never came but 40 minutes on a stage. To reconvene your consciousness and channelize the rage. From bebop to hip-hop, the fool lines mathematical. Each generation weaponized the beautiful, the radical. They gave us Reagan out as crack and mass incarceration. We gave them Public Enemy and blueprints for liberation. The Harlem Renaissance never ended, just evolved its form. Every freestyle cipher is a brainstorm, is a storm. Where the children of the talented, the tenth that was prophesied, inherit the fire that the water couldn't wash aside. They tried to write us out the narrative. We offered all on text, 100 years of proof, and that we're destined. Where was next? Temples from the rubble, made cathedrals from the struggle. Turned the margins to the center, now they study what we scribble. We built temples from the rubble, every generation double the inheritance of genius that they tried to keep us from.
All right, you are, and this is Under the Groove. We're touching bases with the people. It's a grand day, to say the least. You know, hopefully everything is everything with the RGC and those who come in today to join us for our daily session. I can no longer say our, weekly session, which was once or twice every week, but this is daily now, and I'm appreciative of it, and hopefully you are too. So again, welcome everybody. This is Under the Groove, and we will be touching bases with the people. All right, what it look like, man? Oh, a lot going on today. All right, a lot going on today. So a couple of things I want to talk about. There seems to be a reemergence of the discussion about or around reparations. I think that's a good conversation to have. It'd be even better if governments get to the point where they start dropping off that bread and a little land to go with it. Bread ain't gonna be enough. But reparations is in the discussion, especially in Illinois. I know that they have something in Sacramento, some type of bill they're trying to get, passed. I don't know what the holdup is, but you could imagine those who do not want to see us with any reparations, all right, whatsoever. Actually, I think that would be that's dumb of people to not want that, especially the government, being that if you're gonna pay reparations, I was about to say shell out money, but that's not the appropriate term to use for that. But if you're gonna pay out reparations, the reality is that money is going to come back into the system. You know what I mean? In a lot of ways, some more than likely would spend it up. Others will invest it. Housing market will surely go up. Banks' dividends will go up. So there's not really, if you look at it or if they look at it rationally in terms of finances or economics, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. And then to act like that, or for the government to act like, or the Treasury Department act like, okay, we can't afford the money. Everybody know they print money every day. They print money on top of money on top of money. So it's not like they can't print the money. These little receipts for however many trillions it will amount up to. I read something today that it's in excess of 10 trillion. All right. They almost have, the budget is damn near that, if not more. That shit, I think it's something like 12 trillion. I'm not sure. But one thing for sure, is that the money is there, and you pay out the reparations, the money will return. I think that's just, I think that's just common sense, Speaking about reparations, though, what we do know is they gave the Asians, Japanese Americans, reparations in the 1940s, early 50s, I think it was, for interning them in concentration camps while World War II was taking place. We know that they gave reparations to the so-called Native American. Everyone seemed to have got reparations who were wrong, except for African or Black Americans. Again, that's something I think is a no-brainer. Because for the most part, I think most African or Black Americans will take that money and buy land. We will create generational wealth by way, or in that regard, or because of that, the economy goes up. The system will not lose no money. They just won't. Generational wealth will become a thing that, I'm pretty sure Black people will be on board with or about. I'm pretty sure, man, a lot of Black families, man, just can't wait to get that money because they got plans. They have ideas in terms of how to make that money grow. And if they're making the money grow for themselves, again, it's a no-brainer. The system will receive dividends from this growth. I think that's just how it goes when you're talking about money. Money makes money, so reparations is a thing. I wonder to what extent or how far along Sacramento, and I'm talking about California right now, has come in terms of getting this thing, signed off on. I haven't heard nothing lately, like in the last couple of months, but I do recall Trump speaking about it, having being open to it, so, he may try to do it to appease us. I don't know. Again, $10 trillion is nothing in terms of what the U.S. government spends, or it's in terms of its budget, So that's something we can look forward to, or hope that it gains traction and get to the point where, okay, this bill gets passed and boom, they start handing out, partial reparations or the whole thing at once. No telling. I know Illinois, though, is up and running. There's a lawsuit, or there has been a lawsuit filed against Illinois by some conservative group. They're not feeling that. They say, no, you can't just give Blacks this money. However, Illinois, they're already in the process of doing that. What I read earlier today was 193 people are on the list to receive $25,000 stipends. All right. But from what I read further was it's ongoing. The list hasn't been fulfilled yet. There's a number of people who's gotten the 25,000, and that 25,000 is supposed to be used for home development, home improvement, or maybe even putting down on the purchase for a home. In any respect, that ball is rolling. So, hey, man, the more the merrier, man. People start seeing this. And I think that once people, especially society or the community, not just Blacks, but the nation as a whole, starts seeing this and understanding how this money trickles back, they'll be on board as well. I don't see why, again, some would be against it. And we've heard in the last week or so, certain segments of society, certain ethnic groups saying, oh, hell no. We gonna get ours first, or they don't get nothing. We'll stop that. And again, I say, I like to see y'all do that. I want to see how that turns out. But to claim that we don't deserve it before anyone else, again, that just goes to show A lot of people don't really understand the history of this country, you know, and then not just this country, but, you know, other countries surrounding this. You know, we've also contributed to other countries' establishment, you know, their reason for being, you know, straight up, to tell the truth. We've had our hand in some of everything, some everywhere. All right. But to want to deny us reparations, I think is, you know, it's either some hating stuff, some jealousy. That's it. I can't see for no other reason no one or anyone would say, no, they can't get reparations. And in fact, they don't give them to them before you give them to us. I think that's just, you know, some backward thinking, you know. So let's talk about that. Let's see if we can get the comments up and running in terms or in regards to reparations for African/Black Americans here in the United States. You know what I'm saying? I think, again, that would be a good look. And I think so because there are enough of us now in the mindset, or have the mindset, to where we understand, yeah, we need money to get those things done that we have planned for our families, you know, in terms of generational wealth or legacies, you know what I mean, for those future generations that's going to come behind us. I'm hoping in my lifetime we see that, you know. You know, I won't, you know, I was cracking a joke to myself earlier. I said, okay, we get these reparations. I want to get everybody's money in the family and we go buy an island, you know. Have a lot of groovy shit going on the island. No, I'm clowning. But yeah, man, reparations, I think, is something that our people not only need or deserve, but should look forward to. You know, there's a lot of good that could be done with reparations, especially with our people. And, you know, we know how we are about that type of thing. We can make some stuff happen, you know, and I think that's probably part of the fear of those who are against us getting what's due, what's justifiably ours, you know, our reparations. The fear is that, you know, shit, man, that much money you get them, they gonna run everything, you know. And again, being a lot of people see us in the wrong light, you know. I have to admit that we are the type of people where if we're doing good, we don't mind seeing other people do good as well, you know. And again, money does that, you know, especially when you utilize it correctly. You create jobs, you know, you create opportunities for other people and not just your own. That's just the way it goes, I think. So yeah, let's have this discussion, man. You guys come on in and let's see what we can come up with. And these conversations, I think, man, are cornerstone. You know, they're the cornerstone to us getting to the point where, through our conversations, we start formalizing and, you know, coming up with plans, solutions, and ideas to get things done. So there's nothing wrong with conversation. I'm an advocate of it. I think it's necessary. All right. All right, Queen Nzinga, she says, peace and blessings to the Royal Group congregation, kings and queens, be one. For those of you who are in here, I saw a couple of names I haven't seen before. Welcome. It's an honor to see you guys in here. Be one for us. And this is the Royal Group's congregation's terminology. It is Black first. Be one to represent Black first. That's, you know, that's what we push, along with focus on the focus. And the focus tonight is Black reparations, or African American reparations. All right. So thanks for that comment right there in this Get Down, Queen. B60, what it do, bro? All right. All right. You know, you heard the conversation. We're going to talk about reparations for African Americans. If you got something to throw into the RGC chat, man, it'd be appreciated, because you, with your knowledge of how to get shit done, you know, because I take it that you're kind of versed in those things that matter, trust, EINs, you know, things of that nature. So your input, I think, would be very informative as well as educational. So whenever you're ready, brother, hit us with some knowledge, especially knowledge that will, you know, surrounds or involves reparations for African Black Americans. All right. Good seeing this Get Down, bro. You say greetings and salutations, you, Bub, and the Royal Group congregation. Be one. Be one, y'all. Queen Nzinga is back. She said, as of January 2026, the movement has shifted towards concrete legislative actions at the state and local levels while facing continued hurdles at the federal level. Yeah, you could not really, you can't expect nothing less than that from the federal level, because the federal level is where most of these issues concerning racism or systematic, you know, systematic racism in certain institutions is where it comes from. You know, redlining was something that the federal government utilized or used against us. Redlining was or is when the federal government goes in or sees a district and this district is predominantly black, they redline it, and red is being really it's a grading, and the grading is bad. So when they put that out there, the banks, they notified the banks that this is what they were doing, and they said, oh man, you know, that's a hazardous investment, you know what I mean? Or it's hazardous to deal with these people because they don't really know money. They'll renege on the loans and all this stuff, you know. Truth of the matter is, you know, well, none can be further from the truth. They know how we get down. So why the federal government redline black districts or black communities, neighborhoods, you know, is beyond me, other than they're racist, you know. Anyway, they did that, man, and couple that with a lot of other policies and laws, you know, it actually had an effect on us. It actually had an effect on us. And they started this process from what I read back in 1930. But I'm saying, I think that date is erroneous. It has to go back further than that. You know, we have to go back further than 1930 to understand how the federal government worked against us. And that's just, you know, this is just home ownership we're talking about to an extent. Everything. They were against us, you know, in every aspect of human beings or American citizens establishing themselves, having their own, taking care of themselves. Look at what they did, or look at how they assisted racist, you know, organizations and groups to tear down everything we built. And this was before 1930, you know. But anyway, redlining came to be around. They really put a label on or utilized it against us in the 1930s, all the way up until the 1960s. And I think that's, you know, honestly, it's probably even the 1970s. You know, just think about that. But that's what redlining is, and that's what it did to us. It eliminated us, or it prevented us from being a part of the system in terms of enfranchisement, entrepreneurship, you know, doing those things that people who feel a responsibility or an obligation to take care of themselves, they prevented that. And I tell you, it goes right along with everything else they did. Everything else they did to us, it was a concerted effort to do, and it was done to make sure that we didn't climb, especially above them. You know, and I think that's the fear with a lot of people. They say, you give them this money, they're going to outdo us. They're going to outdo us. That's the fear, I think. All right. But there that go. All right. Yeah, Queen, you got that right. Queen Nzinga, thank you for that comment. Donald Davis. All right. He said, what up, bub? I'm new to your channel, bro. Hey, man, I saw your name, a few slots beneath, Queen and B60. And I said, this is a new individual, man. Listen, man, you're more than welcome to be here. Peace and blessings to you and yours. This is Under the Groove Podcast. From Monday to Friday, we do a thing we call touching bases with the people. This is where brothers and sisters come in, man, and we chop it up. We have conversations, all right? And just so you know, sometimes we don't agree. However, we keep it respectful, man. We keep love in the conversation. We keep respect in the conversation. And most of all, man, we remain unified, all right? So you're more than welcome to be here, bro. Like, share, comment, and if you see fit, subscribe to this channel, man. Your participation in this get down will be appreciated. Again, you jumped in, man, and this is the Royal Group Congregation. Most of everybody you see in here, this is what we represent, and we represent it by being black first, all right? So, hey, man, welcome. All right, jump in anytime, man. And again, the conversation is about reparations for African/Black Americans, man. Do we deserve them? Because there, chatter out there is that we don't. Why they would say we don't, I just gave my take on it, my opinion on it. But do we deserve reparations? And then I'm gonna go one further. Would we utilize reparations to our benefit, or will we squander reparations, to our disadvantage? You know what I mean? I think that's also a consensus that others see or think about us if we get large sums of money, remains to be seen. That's for sure. But anyway, man, again, man, Donald Davis, welcome to the Get Down, man. Touching bases with the people. Wake and Bake, what it do, man? You say peace and love, my RGC kings and queens. Right back to you, man. It's good to see you back. Hopefully everything is everything. And for everybody in here, man, again, Grand Rising, that's that thing, man. You up and at it. You are up. You are fortunate enough or blessed enough to get up and be 10 toes down and in this thing, man, the struggle we call life, man. Some didn't make it today. All right. So you got to look at when you woke up, that was a rebirth, a reemergence of the soul and spirit, man, on a whole new Get Down, man. It's a whole new day, take advantage of it, man. And look forward to tomorrow. Don't stop looking ahead, y'all. Yeah, we got today. Tomorrow's not promised to no one. That don't mean we can't plan for it, or we can't gear and regulate our minds to prepare for tomorrow. Shit, actually, man, that's what we should do anyway. Start planning. Start planning. All right. So, hey, Wake and Bake, good to see you in here, loved one. All right. Poke Mitchell Podcast TV. What it do, bro? All right. I see you, homie. He said, top of the night, bub, and much love and respect to the RGC and UTG. Ready for truth to power. Yeah, that's it. That's all right. Reparations, homie. What will reparations do for us? How could that elevate our status, our stature, our station in life? Again, a lot of people don't think we should get reparations. A lot of us may get reparations. And again, I'm hopeful that we receive reparations in my lifetime. All right. But what are we going to do with reparations? What's the plan? That type of money, man, you can work wonders with that. Again, in just speaking of that type of money, again, we spend as a people, as an economic spending block, man, we spend over $1.34 trillion annually in this country. We're supposedly on the lowest end of the totem pole. Where are we getting this money? How do we make that happen? How are we spending $1.4 trillion? And they love us for it. The problem is, though, we spend this type of money and none of it comes back to the community. It leaves the community. Now, I said that to say, hey, imagine us getting this money, visualize it, speaking to existence. What are we going to do with it, though? Do we build up our community? Do we devise a plan to where our money circulates? Does it circulate? Does it stay within the community? Do we spend it outside the community only when necessary? In any respect, money will change hands, and again, that does benefit the nation's economy. Make no mistake about that. But yeah, hey, Pope, man, what are we going to do with reparations? Is reparations a good thing? Will it be a good thing, or will it be to our disadvantage? Good to see you in here also, bro. Queen Nzinga saying California, several bills involving direct cash payments and housing assistance were vetoed. They don't want us to have nothing, fighting against us at every turn. And again, that's something we're used to. A lot of us, we hear that, we read these types of things, we see it on the news or whatever, and we become discouraged. But listen, man, we've been through worse. We've been through worse. And again, let's not, put the cart before the horse. We ain't gonna count chickens for the eggs hatch, but consider reparations for Black or African Americans, what good would that do us, man? And do we deserve them? I think we deserve them, shit. And I think, like I said previously, we'll make that shit happen. But I think too, the reason they probably won't do that, because I think they think we have enough sense. When we get that type of money, we'll say, hey man, you know what? Nah, give us this state over here. We cool, you know, or we may leave altogether. I don't know. But that's something that I think they fear, not just giving us the money, but what we'll do with it. And what we do with it, will it harm them? You know, I think that's one of their main fears, man. But yeah, anyway, man, there that go. All right, Alonzo, I see you, loved one. And again, thanks, Queen Nzinga, for that information. That's very informative. All right, each one teach one. Steel sharpens steel, y'all. You know, let's drop these gems and these jewels, you know, so our people can pick them up, man, and utilize them. All right. Knowledge is king. You know, understanding, man, ain't nothing greater than knowledge, man, or education. Your health, but other than that, yeah. Knowledge is king. Alonzo, what it do, bro? He says, that's not reparations the federal government has to pay. Reparations a town, city, or state can't do it. Okay, let me read that again. That's not reparations the federal government has to pay. The federal government has to pay reparations. A town, city, or state can't do it. And that's true. It's the federal government. It's the federal government. But for whatever reason, a little town in Illinois, is it Evanston? Not Evansville, but Evanston, I think. They've started the process. Now, who's paying for it? Come again? Evanston. Now, who's paying for it, though, Alonzo? I'm not sure, bro. But I know they handed out stipends. You know, they handed out, you know, 25,000 to, well, they plan to hand out 25,000 to a total of 193 residents, you know, Black residents, all right? As a result, again, I don't know who paid the money, but I'm pretty sure you're right about that. The federal government will be responsible for that payment. But since that, a lawsuit was filed against Evanston, and probably the federal government, because they're saying they're representing this firm, this conservative firm, say that they're representing 6 individuals who are against reparations. I did a piece earlier, and I wondered out loud, who are these people? You know, and then to make that, you know, more, you know, more mysterious is the fact that they won't allow the 6 people who they're filing this lawsuit for to be interviewed. So, okay, what are you hiding? And they obviously aren't Black, you know. But a good point there, Alonzo. And that's something we should all keep in consideration. The state, local municipalities, or, you know, those who run the local government or whatnot, aren't going to be responsible for paying reparations to African/Black Americans here in these United States. That's for sure. Polk says, Bub, I've been thinking a lot about solutions and why do Blacks shy away from them so much? But I have a few things I would love to hear your opinion on, and what better place to bring them than UTG. Well, go ahead, shoot, bro. You know, drop that in to get down, homie. You already know how we do. And that, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be the only one addressing that, you know what I mean? And that's the beauty of this Get Down, touching bases with the people. We're here, man, to, you know, dissect stuff, to, you know, go over things, you know, to find the rationale in them or what's illogical about it. So go on and drop that in the Get Down, man, and let's have at it, all right? Lonzo said, peace to the RGC and Bub and your family. Right back to you, Lonzo, man. Right back to you, man. Peace and blessings. Ain't nothing but love, homie. Appreciate your presence every day in this Get Down, man. And that go for everybody else. Y'all know how this thing go, man. We make this thing go. You guys are the engine to this machine. So appreciate you, bro. Queen Nzinga, oh, she hot tonight. She's hot. She says critics arguing that race-based financial payouts violate constitutional equality principles. Ain't that something? I'll read it again. Critics argue that race-based financial payouts violate constitutional equality principles. Ain't that something? Ain't it? Ain't it? Again, anytime, and this was what's funny about people, but actually it's not funny, it's telling. You know what I mean? Anytime they see or they think that we're about to come into something, or we got something going on, they want to come in. If they don't attempt to outright usurp it or take it, they argue against it. They want to dismantle it. It's not theirs. They're not getting it. So therefore we shouldn't have it. Ain't that something? What is the big deal? What's the big deal about this? Again, it's telling though. It's telling, anytime these people do these types of things or have these statements or these opinions about what we should and should not have, it's telling, Now, just think about it, man. A lot of them initially, and even still today, think that we shouldn't own homes. We shouldn't drive cars that are new. We shouldn't have businesses. We shouldn't have rights, constitutional or otherwise. What's the deal with that? So yeah, man. I appreciate that as well. Like I say, Queen Nzinga is hot tonight. All right, Alonzo said, man, we don't want race-based. We want lineage-based. Only we of color. We of color. I got you. And why don't you jump in there, Alonzo, and break that lineage base down for the people? See, because that's significant. That's very significant because, well, I won't let the cat out the bag. You drop that, man. I read it. I understand what you're saying. And we see this. We see how people want to get in on the get out, It's funny to me though. These same people, man, they won't claim us, but they'll use what they call it cosplaying now, putting on the costume, They're not from the get out, although we're related, distant relatives, but still. Yeah, man, drop that up in there, bro. I hear you. You did actually. You go on to say, was your family here in 1865? Then you get reparations. And I'm more than sure mine was. I'm more than sure that my wife's family was. I'm more than sure that damn near every black person I know family was here or come from that situation they called the peculiar institution. We all come from that, most of us anyway. But again, yeah, we have people trying to break into the lineage. It's like, if they get them, we want them too. No, man, you're not a part of this. Get out. I'm glad you put that in there. 1865 people, not 1870, not 1890. You done got here. Your forefathers. Your great grandparents got here on a boat, or however they got here. If you weren't here by 1865 before all that stopped, you get no action. Stop hating on us, man. Damn. Get you some business. But anyway, appreciate that, Alonzo, man. Hey, Alonzo being there too. Queen Nzinga is hot, and Alonzo is hitting all cylinders, man. His shit hitting on all cylinders too. Poke say, Bub, I thought about how you don't agree with your followers sending you monies. But how else to win a part in this war than to create your own funds for and to each other? That being good folk. That's what being good folk is about. I'm paraphrasing there. I'm like this. And I don't have a problem with expression. Some might think, oh man, you dumb. Man, you stupid. It ain't gonna do nothing. Go buy a blunt or some weed. You look, man. What I see on social media, man, I think is it's messed up, man. These brothers ask and I'm not in the same light, but I'm just trying to make a point. These brothers got these podcasts, these channels, man, and they're asking people for donations. They take money from them, man, and they give them what? They give them what, man? They don't give them nothing, man, that's gonna help that individual, his community, his family to grow. They don't, you know what I mean? They putting out shit, man. They putting out mess, man. You know, a lot of us are responsible for a lot of what we see in our communities, especially that gang culture, all right? We want to take responsibility for that. But now you have these other cats, they come in and they'll talk bad about it. They'll display this stuff on these channels, not realizing that they're doing just as much harm and damage to the community than we did when we were doing that, all right? But they take the money from the people. They don't bring the money back to the people. You know what I mean? So they go buy cars, low riders, jewelry, you know, shit like that. My thing is the people, man, you know, here it is. If you have money and you say, man, I like this, you know, this get down. I like this channel. I want to send him $5. I want to send him $10. All right. When you had that thought, man, just trust and know, man, the thing to do when you had that thought, get you a piggy bank or a trash can, weld that thing shut and drop that money in there, man. So every time you have this inkling, you know, this, you know, you want to, you know, donate to Under the Groove, man, put it back, not in your pocket, but store it away, because I'm telling you, you're going to need it more than me. You know, that's not to say I'm not in the same shit we all need, you know what I mean? But I don't think that, man, I'm on here to take money from nobody, man. You know, I say, and I've said this, and I mean this, let YouTube pay me. You know what I mean? And as a result, when they get to the point where YouTube is paying Under the Groove properly, I can say then, hey, man, this is what I got, man. What y'all want to do with it? You know, I can actually take that money and pull up, not just on Hoover Street, but any other community, man, with people who are homeless, hungry, whatever, and say, hey, man, I got a couple of trucks of food. Here y'all go. Hey, man, I got a truck full of coats for the rainy season. I got some shoes, man. I got Crocs. You know what I mean? I'm pulling up, man, with one of them trailers that kids can go in and learn something after school, something to that effect. You feel me? That's how I look at this, homie. That's how, you know, I'm not in this, man, to get to fleece the people, homie. I'm just not, you know. I understand poverty, you know. I've had a little money, you know. But, man, I'm telling you one thing I learned about it, man, it don't make me. It's not going to improve my life. I get what you're saying. Get the money, man, and utilize it. Put it to use under the banner of Under the Groove Podcast. I get that. And I'm saying to you, man, now, man, keep your money, man. We're going to have YouTube pay us. YouTube will pay Under the Groove Podcast. And when they get to the point where they paying us right, boom, I'm taking some off the top, man. I'm saying, okay, and I'm going to let y'all know, hey, man, this is what I got. This is what I would like to do with it. Any ideas? You know what I'm saying? And that won't just go for California. You get it? So this is why I say, man, when I say, man, get in there, man. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you see fit. Let's build this thing up. I have a plan. When I started this podcast, I had a plan. A lot of homies thought it was going to be something else. A lot of homies, they envisioned something else. I was never with them funnies, man. You know, I was back in the day, but, you know, I woke up, you know. But I'm not here to push nothing negative, man. You know, I'm here to push positivity. I'm here to say, man, this is what we should be on. I'm here to be an example. All right. So when YouTube get to that point, and they will, where they're paying Under the Groove Podcast, people are going to see that. They're going to know that. You know, that money is going to be used to help the people. Straight up, you know. Others ask me, why you ain't start? Yeah, it's all kind of shit, man. I've had individuals ask me about nonprofits. I say, man, that's not my get down, man, because I don't trust nonprofits. I think they're scams. You know what I mean? And so, again, when we're talking about social media, I think most social media sites are scams. You know, just to work the people, fill their heads with junk, man, and just in the realest sense, man, they don't dispense none to the people that's worthwhile or beneficial, productive, positive, or none of that, man. Not the ones we know, you know. I don't want to be in that, you know what I mean? Y'all don't see Venmo and PayPal and all. I'm not with none of that, homie. You know, YouTube, you know, because like I said, man, when we start this, we want to turn YouTube on its ear, you know, and that would include them paying us. You know, we'll take that money and we're going to do something with that money, you know. And it depends on what this game, what this get down looks like will determine how we're able to help the people. That's it, man. All right. But I get what you're saying, Poe. You know, I can dig it, man, but I'm not cool with that. I'm just not cool with that. So y'all take y'all money, man. And you ain't, you know, take that money and sock it away, man. You got kids, sock it away, man, for them kids, man. Put it away for their educations, you know, pair of shoes, something. Anytime you have, you know, the mind to send anybody money outside of your family, when the family can use the money first, man, you should change your mind real quick. Take that money, man, put it away. Take care of them babies, man. Take care of them family. Take care of them bills. That shit that matter, man. You know, me getting your money don't matter. You know, because again, I you know, I don't want it. You know, I want YouTube money. I want the federal government's money. I want all the money from mugs that owe us. YouTube is a platform, man. They don't come back to the community. They make buku money. Can any of y'all say one time y'all done seen YouTube pull up in any community and say, hey, here, thank you for making us rich? Yeah, man. I'm after YouTube's money. All right. But there's a cause and a purpose behind this, you know, this direct attack or assault on YouTube and changing the algorithm. There's a purpose. There's a plan behind it. All right. But I appreciate you nonetheless, bro. You already know what to do, homie. All right. Antonio Anthony, what it do, man? Love right back to you, homie. Love right back to you. Hold on, Poe, because I just now saw that you continue. So I'll start that whole your comment over. Bub, I thought about how you don't agree with your followers sending you money, but how else to win a part in this war than to create your own funds for and to each other than being good folk that continue front line as you and others of such do. I thought about how these Democrats and Republicans get everybody to donate to them, and then they don't do shit for us or nobody else. And they line their pockets. They line their pockets, man. And again, but see, the same way you describe how politicians get out, we got people in our communities who do the same shit, you know, just on different platforms. You know what I mean? They do the same thing, man. You know, and anytime we see, again, our focus got to be on what's immediate to us, what's around us, you know, what's in our vicinity, our area, our environment, and how that which is affecting us. That's the focus we supposed to have, man. We supposed to have our focus on those who are in our midst, fucking over us first. That include the gang bangers, the drug dealers, man, you know, the pimps, you know, all that shit. It's just me talking, you know what I mean? But I mean it. I mean it, man. You know, we direct our attention to them. We got to clean up our shit before we can start. And then, man, I don't want nothing from them people, man, other than what they owe me. You know what I'm saying? And what they owe mine. That's it. That's it, man. I don't care about nothing else, man. You know, not until such a time where we got our shit together, then we go on the attack. See, because, you know, at this stage, man, this is all for naught. Ain't nobody listening to us. Yeah, they taking our money. Yeah, they're bamboozling us. Yeah, they're making promises to us they don't intend to keep. Yeah, that shit been going on. They've used that so well, man. Again, it's all of it is just a distraction. You know, we got sisters and brothers in politics, Democrats and Republicans, don't do shit for the people. You know, and we see what they doing. They like, man, all of them are rich. How the hell you working for the people and the people are poor, but you were rich? You know, a lot of them told, I went to college. I was a doctor. I was a lawyer. I was this, I was that. But every year, your bank account, it improves. It just grows every year. And damn, what your position pay you. Some of them get about $250,000 a year. You know, man, These people are raking in triple that, quadruple that. This money is coming from these lobbyists. You know, these people who come and buy their votes for bills that don't serve the people. It serve other people in other countries. You know what I mean? But they rich. And they claim, they profess to be representatives of the poor or the marginalized, you know, of the masses. Don't give a damn about us, man. We have to start caring about us, man, from the ground level, man. From the ground level. They're not on the ground, man. You know, we're on the ground. We're the ones on the ground. We're the ones suffering. You know, them people pass homeless people every day, and I guarantee you they don't stop to give them $1. But they represent the people. You know? So, you know, we need not focus on that, man. We need to focus on us, you know, and it's going to take us to get this shit right, man, because, I mean, it should be evident that they're not trying to take care of the people, man, period, point blank. And going back, that includes a lot of these social media channels and podcasts. They don't care. You know, they got the same mentality, the same groove, same grind as those who, you know, got the money or want the money. It's them. It ain't nobody else, man. You know, so I get what you're saying, but I don't think I just don't think that's relevant. It's not going to help us. How long have people been crying and arguing about politicians being crooked and corrupt? Ain't changed shit. You know, they got one of the most corrupt individuals in the land as president. You know, so it's all for naught, man. It's a distraction. It's a distraction. It's a, you know, I don't know, man. But I'm not one that's gonna, you know, waste time on that. I'll point some shit out real quick, and I'm gonna keep it pushing because I know it's a waste of my time, you know, just hammering the, you know, harping on something or some individual that really don't give a flying fuck about what I say. Or the constituents who got him or her in office or got him, you know, propped up on social media or whatever the case may be. I'm not them, you know. Yeah, man. We got to do for us. Grassroots, man. We from the dirt. We got to do for us. You notice, man, most politicians, when they call themselves helping any segment of the people, it's the middle class. You know, they'll throw crumbs, you know, knowing that them crumbs they throwing in a year or two, somebody's going to come along and quash that bill, quash that service, you know, that social service in a year or two be gone. They know this shit. They know this shit, man, you know? So, hey, Alonzo, you said we have a website. Excuse me. We have a website who gets it. How much is owed? It's a debt on the books that the government said they owe and will pay. You know, I'm gonna go back down. I'm gonna go down to your second part, Alonzo. You said nobody works for free, and our people work for free for hundreds of years. Where that money at? Our inheritance stolen. Real shit. Not only that, but they're liars. They're liars. You know, they made promises after the fact, after the Emancipation Proclamation. They promised shit to us. All right. They promised shit to us. We still ain't got that. They made promises to the so-called native, to the Indian. They made promise to the Japanese. They kept their promise. They didn't keep their promise with us, you know? And all we want, all we demand is what's owed to us. You know, they will recognize, they will admit free labor, that's really unconstitutional. You know, no one should work for free. And yet y'all did that to us. Now, where's our money? Where's our money? And again, man, that shit wasn't by mistake, by accident. And people knew what they were doing. So we're gonna make sure that there's a generational wealth gap between us and whoever we decide to, tell trail behind us and them damn blacks. That's what's happening. People knew exactly what they were doing, man. So yeah, man, appreciate that though, Alonzo. Tell the truth, man. Shame the devil. All right. Poke Mitchell Poke says, Bub, I know you have talked about AI. Well, what's wrong with using AI for all the tidbits and analysis for us, funding us? Because I don't mind giving to the right purpose of our black folk. I don't have a total disregard or a total non-trust of AI. I don't. What I'm saying though about AI is that we should be very careful. We didn't design AI. When our brothers, rest in peace, designed, David Blackwell designed AI, he's gone. He showed them the script. He gave them the script. So imagine what they've done to it since they got it from him. We don't know, man, we don't know how that shit functions for real, for real. We don't know how they may implant certain things in AI to where AI harms us before it harms anybody else. I'm saying, man, just beware of things that, we always supposed to beware, man. We always supposed to be aware about what people put before us or what they want to offer us. Most AI is free, I think that a lot of, these things, people go on ChatGPT and all these other sites that have AI generated information or feedback. I think that's I don't think you could trust that all the way. You can't actually, because AI is not going to give you the whole script. You know why? Because they haven't given AI all the script. Think about that. Think about that. The Vatican's not going to open its archives to AI to expose all that they've stolen from us. You know what I mean? Great Britain is not going to do that. Give AI all this information, show them artifacts we have yet to see that exist. United States ain't going to do it. So AI is only going to serve us just a little bit. It's not going to serve us as they trying to tell us AI will. AI can't tell us the shit we really want to know. They'll give you some watered down shit. And you know what? Most of what AI told us or tells us is written or was written by who? Who? Who has all the information? Who has all the artifacts, man? Who has stolen knowledge? We ain't got it. They got it. You think they gonna get that shit to AI? So we can go in there and figure out some shit for real, so that we can know our heritage, our ancestry, our language, our religion, our purpose? No. That's what I mean by that, bro. I don't, I fuck around, I toy with AI because I don't know everything. I just know what I know, you know what I mean? And AI say some shit, and I'm like, hey man, that's some bullshit. What registers in my mind is, okay, so AI then went to this book written by this racist individual, this racist archaeologist, this racist politician, this racist government, and spewed back some bullshit they wrote. And I'm supposed to take that in. I'm supposed to trust that. Hell nah. Nah, man. No how, no way. No how, no way. That's my issue with AI. So and I don't have a problem with expressing that. My issue with AI is that you can't trust nothing AI says, because all the information input into AI comes from who? It come from us. There you go. I'm gonna move on because that's one I can talk about all day. But anyway, yeah. And again, the thing about AI also, again, man, it's designed, man, to do what they tell it to do. certain information about hedge funds, Bitcoin, anything, they'll tell you some shit. But is that the truth? Is that really how these hedge fund moguls really win? You know what I mean? Are they really giving you the whole script? I just think that AI, man, is set in place to mislead the people. That's what I think. So there. We want to do something for black folk. We got to go on what we know, man. We know this system is against us in every form and fashion, man. No doubt about that. We know this. That's knowledge we have. They didn't give us that knowledge, man. We learned this going through shit with these people, man. AI ain't got to tell us nothing about this. So based on what we know, we supposed to be applying that. We supposed to put that to work for us. And the first thing we learn, man, is don't trust them. We done forgot the first lesson. We trust everything these people put out, man. We trust the food they put in the grocery stores, man. We trust the education they put in the heads of our children. We trust, man, the chemicals, man, they spray that they say are helpful. We trust them wholeheartedly. And I think that's a mistake. That's not to say, man, some of this shit, again, we have to utilize some of it. But knowing what we know, we have to have enough wherewithal to know, okay, we talked about this the other day, moderation. Doing things in moderation, man. You do it in moderation. That way, you don't get caught up. That's not just drug use, drinking, or whatever addiction you may have. That also includes, man, trusting people you're not supposed to trust. That's where I'm at with that, man. The right purpose for us, the right thing for us to do is come together. Come together, man. Our shared experiences, our shared knowledge, education, man, is what's going to help us. And we should get it from nobody else. That's been our problem. That's been our problem. We've accepted everything, man, from everybody else except ourselves. That's the problem. So I'm against that shit. Again, I mean, yeah, you use it sparingly. You use it, man, on, mediocre shit, man. Because listen, man, if AI was giving it up like that, man, you would have millions of millionaires by now. I mean, that became millionaires, man, let's say in the last 6 months, millions. That ain't the way that's really designed, man. That ain't the way that's going to go. AI ain't going to do all that. But they tell you AI know everything. No, it don't. They ain't put everything in AI to know. Something. All right, AJ Stone, what it do, loved one? All right. Salute, bro. Salute right back to you, loved one. All right. I don't be on TikTok no more, man. So I'm not able to catch up with a lot of your posts and shit. Instagram, I think I might have saw 1 or 2 there. But yeah, I don't even do TikTok no more, man. But still, man, I love you, homie. Ain't seen you in a minute. Hope that you're well, bro. You and your family are good, all right? Appreciate you being in this get down too, bro. It's a good look, man. Appreciate that. Alonzo Johnson says, nobody works for free. I just read that. Nobody works for free, and our people work for free for hundreds of years. Where that money at? Our inheritance stolen. Where our money at? And damn anybody that say, man, we ain't got nothing coming. Where our money at? That's what I'm on. Chris, I'm gonna give you a salute, homie. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get that black fist as well. How you doing, bro? Good to see you with us today. I don't know if you know, we Monday through Friday now, Chris. Come on, catch up. But again, I say this often, man, because I mean it. I know, man, that we're in the now. A lot of us, we're in the now. We're living life right now. And sometimes, man, our priorities have to be placed or or executed, addressed in that light or in that way. Whatever a priority is, I think that we should always take care of our priorities first. This will be here. You know what I mean? So, nonetheless, good to see you up in here, Chris. All right, Poke. Poke says reparations is something the government owe us, but why spend most of our valuable time on that instead of helping push us to the top with our own money instead of waiting on them? B1 can do it. Yeah, we can. I just said, and I agree with you. I just said we're an economic powerhouse. We spend I think it's 1.4 trillion a year. We spend that. We spend that. We consume $1.4 trillion worth of goods every year. No one does that better than us. What's a shame is that none of that money comes back. The money you're talking about, Pope. That 1 point some trillion, man, could do wonders for us. And so that's what I mean by, hey, man, don't send me nothing, and y'all should stop sending other people shit if that's what you're doing. You're supposed to take that money, man, and drop that thing, drop it in a can or a big bank or something, man. Anytime you want to go buy the latest fad or trend, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you should do. I'm surprised my wife loves me and still with me because I'm frugal. I complain about $1. Man, let somebody try to overbill me 50 cents. I don't give a fuck. That's mama, man. I'm raising hell, and now I'm gonna get some more shit out your ass. You know what I mean? But I'm saying that to say, man, we have to be mindful of how we spend our dollars or how our dollars go out, or how people manipulate and exploit us for our dollars. So I just gave you a scenario where phone company, cable company, I give you any number where they'll try to overbill me, let's say 50 cents to $1.50. Now, being how I am about my little 50 cent or my $1.50, I ain't gonna let them get away with it. But imagine how many people don't call in and say, hey man, you overbilled me. That money is compounded. It builds up. They making money on top of money. That's one way, and a lot of y'all might not think it's a lot, but it is. It's quite a bit. It's quite a bit, yeah, man, and invest, in our future. Yeah, invest, like you're saying, Pope, in a solution or plan to do better for ourselves. But the only way we can do that, man, being that, we are consumers of $1.4 trillion, if we stop spending our money with anybody that comes out with some bullshit. That's it. Start putting that money to a different use. In fact, don't use it. Let it accumulate. Let it accumulate. Latest Jordan's come out, man. Jordan's selling the same shoe. He's selling the same shoe. All the while locking brothers up. Money, man, hand over fist. He ain't the only one. But yeah, that's one solution. Excuse me, y'all. That's one solution. I agree with you, man. Instead of helping us, and again, reparations, I don't think is a handout. I think that reparations, man, is something owed to us, man. As human beings, it's owed to us. Fuck as a citizen of America. No, man, as human beings, we're owed that. In other words, that's ours, man. Give it here. No, I'm like you in a lot of ways. I don't like handouts. I don't like that shit. So, But I know the difference between a handout and reparations. Reparations are necessary. These people did shit to us that prevented us from elevating, from excelling, man. You know, from growing, being all we can be, man. All that shit, man, they did on purpose. They did intentionally. They owe us for that. So that's the difference to me, you know. Yeah, our money, what we do with our money, we give it away. We spend it, man, on $500 jeans, $300 t-shirts, $300 tennis shoes. You know, you brothers, man, they got all this gear on, man, and living in squalor, or with their mama, or with a family member, or their woman who don't know no better, any better than him. Any woman with some sense, man, like, nah, no, you too expensive, bro. We're not gonna get nowhere. You know, making Louis richer, making all these clothing houses, man, just super rich. And the coldest part about all this shit, y'all, that a lot of us don't understand, they were already rich. They are the elites who run this shit, who got all the shit. And we just give them the money, man. We just give them the money they don't need. They're selling us products, man, that are useless to us. Don't elevate us, man. It don't improve our mindset, our education, nothing. Nothing. So Alonzo says, though, Poke, he said we can do both, Poke Mitchell. All right. You say peace to you, you and yours, Poke, also. Poke said, I feel you on the reparations. I'm always thinking of the good and the great in us. I believe in our sisters and brothers, and love is key. B1. You know, and that's part of the problem as well. We don't love ourselves, man. This is why we do half of the asinine shit we do. You know, it's a whole lot going on with us. A whole lot going on with us, man. Lonzo says every American descendant of slavery gets 1.5 million apiece. Shit, man. I don't know. I want 2.5. Shit. Again, I take the 1.5 to Alonzo, all bullshit aside, provided that you also give me a parcel of land. You know, United States government, man, has so many millions of unused land. The government, the federal government. They say, oh, we're preserving this for wildlife, you know, or, you know, we grow trees here, you know, part of our economy, we grow trees, cut them down, you know, so we need this land for that. National parks. I mean, land, man. Land. This country ain't as heavily populated as they would lead us to believe, you know. Give me a parcel of land, man, with my 1.5 million, you know. Give me the parcel of land with my 1.5. I'm going to find me a brother who's a contractor, build us a nice home. You know, I'm going to then go find a security contractor, hook us up, give us all the best of surveillance. You know what I mean? Hey, yeah, I need the land along with that money. So shit, there that go. Pope Mitchell said, man, Alonzo, man, what it do? Good brother, much love and respect to you. And right, we can do both. I truly don't think that it ain't nothing we can't do, especially for ourselves. And that's the mentality that B1 should have. You know, black first. If you're thinking black first, and that's the mentality we should have. We should actually be on that. You know, there's nothing we can't do, man. But see, we're being told every day. And the coldest part is we're not just being told by the white tea people anymore that we ain't shit, we can't do nothing. We're being told by other people now, you know, that we ain't shit, we can't do nothing. But that's BS, man. If we put our minds together, we decide to change things, things will change. Things will change. I'm gonna give you an example. Again, like I say, man, I love just checking out what they're doing in Africa. Them brothers told the IMF, the World Bank, the European Union, all Western countries, including the United States, they know we tired of listening to y'all. Because y'all told us we were nothing. We couldn't do shit. Look at them now. And in a matter of 3 years, they've taken ownership, man, not just of their land and the resources, but their lives. They're not playing no games, man. You know, and they've been colonized for a long time. You know, they didn't even have some of the so-called freedoms we call ourselves having over here. They call giving us over here, you know. Man, they snapped out of that shit quick. You know, so again, I ask us, man, when is enough enough? When are we going to snap out of this fog, man, and take ownership of our lives? You know, we can do anything. We can. We put our minds to it. Shit, man. Yeah, man. We can do for ourselves. That's the truth. Queen Nzinga said, Alonzo Johnson, exactly. It's our inheritance. It belongs to us. Alonzo goes on to say, I won't mind. And yes, it can definitely help me and my family out. Tell the truth, man. And then, like I said, man, what I know, and I don't have to know it for a fact. I know it, man, internally. I know it, just, my soul knows. Give us that money and watch. Watch. Man, come on. We ain't gonna look back, man. We will not look back. They'll be seeing our backs. You know what I mean? We'll be evolving. We'll be excelling so rapidly, man. They just be like, damn, where'd they go? Where'd they go? You know? And that's another thing. They fear, I'm telling you, man, they fear having to live without us because we make the world go round. We make their world go round, man. And for us to elevate them to them, that means they're going to get left behind, man. That the world's going to spin so fast, man, they're going to fall off. You know, that's what I know, man. So yeah, man, we just got to do the damn thing. That's it, man. Alonzo, you go on to say, man, I done my family tree. Man, he said, I done my family tree. I know they hung my great grandmother from a tree and called it suicide. I want what they owe my family. I want what they owe your family too, bro. You know, and that didn't matter to them if it was a woman or a child, let alone a man. Man, no love for us, man. You know, and to this day, they don't. They just go about showing it differently. You know, that's what we got to understand, man. They go about showing it differently. The lynching of the black man and woman and child, they go about it differently now. It ain't a rope, you know, for the most part, hanging, you know, and we, you know, that strange fruit. It's a different get out now, but it's the same principle. It's to kill us off. It's to murder us. You know, they're doing it a lot slower now, but that still is the intent. I hate hearing that, man. Raymond Skoll. All right, Roscoe, how you doing, bro? He said, tapping in real quick, bub. Peace and blessings to you and your family. Extending my respect to the kings and queens of the Royal Group congregation. All right, now, peace and blessings right back to you, man. Handle it, you know. Do your damn thing, man. Get it done, bro. Get it done. All right, and we may see you tomorrow, man. Tomorrow's Friday, y'all. It's the last day of the week. I have to go home and prepare for the session tomorrow because I'm pretty hell bent on bringing in the Royal Group congregation to the live. You know what I mean? I had that link up and running. You know, for So that's something I'm looking forward to. I'm actually anticipating, man. Kind of, I ain't nervous, you know what I'm saying? But damn, I'm like, ooh, you know, that's another step forward for us, you know. But yeah, man, we'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully, brother. Take care of yourself. Alonzo said, if you go read our website, we have the entire breakdown on reparations. Did you put the link in there, Alonzo? You got the link? I got, as a matter of fact, he sent me an email. I have it in my email, if I remember correctly. Hey, Alonzo, put it in the RGC, bro. Yeah, that's worth, I know that's a read worth reading, man. Put that up in there, bro. Queen Nzinga says, real talk, I want what's due me and mine. We have suffered for too long. That's right. Lonzo go on and say, we are writing a bill to present to Congress about what we want. Yeah, man, I would love to read that, bro. Come on now. I would love to read that. Polk says, Lonzo, I definitely want you and your family to get yours. And Bub is giving good analogy and eye openers, but the government make it so hard with so many years they go by fighting. And most of B1s never seeing shit. That's true. But again, that then that process, man, is created. Also, let's say, for instance, okay, we get to the point where things start to come around for us. That process will get dragged out for a very long time. That's why I say the hope is that in our lifetime, we see that happen, you know? And at the very least, if not, we know that it's etched in stone, you know? That way we can still prepare those coming up behind us for what's coming so that they'll know how to deal with and how to take care of, you know, that generational wealth, or, you know, or how to build a legacy from that, an even greater legacy. So, yeah, I agree, man. They play games like that. Hurry up and wait. You know, that's that prison shit too, Polk, how they do. Hurry up and wait. Tell you, they hurry up and wait, man, for everything. You hurry up and wait for your visit, your canteen for dinner, for breakfast. You know, you hurry up and wait for yard, you know, a shower, you know, hurry up and wait for release. You know, that's part of the get down with them, man. Alonzo says, we don't care about color or race. What your blood say was your family here in 1865. There it is, man. There it is. There it is. And you know what? That has to be made of one of the main sticking points in any type of reparations bill or anything. Were your parents here? Their parents here? Their parents' parents here? That has to be in the get down, man. That has to be in the get down. Okay. Hold up, y'all. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So yeah, man. I'm with that one. 1865. If you ain't got that, you can't account for that. You got Nathan coming. Not on our get down. Alonzo, you going to say all black American descendants of slavery are family. We cousins with the white founding fathers. You're going to say it's all in the blood. Your bloodline, how far does it go back in this country? All right, the homie, I see you, bro. Say good evening, bub. Tell me you watch Run 2025 about the African refugees. Yes, I did. Tell you, so when they come on, man, I told the wife, they in the platoon. They're in the, you know, the inflatable boat. I said to my wife, I promise you, I said, somebody finna die. They're on the ocean. I think it was the Mediterranean. I'm pretty sure they were on the Mediterranean. I said, there's somebody finna die. Lo and behold, brother get up and say, hey man, what's going on? Why we've been out here too long? They booked 3 brothers, man. Threw them overboard, you know? Called that shit. Get the land, you know, I'm like, yeah, man, boom. You know, first off, y'all trying to, you call yourself running the freedom, but you got these telltale signs on these life vests. Take that shit off, man. You know, for any immigrant coming to wherever y'all going, you're doing it by water. Once you get to land, man, take that damn vest off, man, because you're telling on yourself, you know. But anyway, when the pregnant sister ran into, you know, the white lady, initially I thought she wasn't to be trusted, you know, that she was psychotic, you know. I was wrong. This woman understood the plight of the black man and woman, you know, understood what governments have done to the melanated people. She knew. And she had a cold, I think, guilt complex. She had a guilt complex. Now, pit her against the so-called American veteran, the racist dude, off the rip, you see him. And it's everybody's fault but his. His business failing. That was the immigrant's fault. Chasing away business or whatever, you know, chasing away the tourist attraction, the money from tourists. You know, I saw that off the rip, man. And that is the mentality we see with a lot of them over here. They're quick to blame everybody else, you know, especially when they're failing. You know. But I found the movie, man. There were so many different aspects of it, man. How corrupt immigration is, you know what I mean? If you could pay, they'll let you through, you know. Just the struggle, though, of, you know, reaching dry land and finding seclusion, finding shelter so that you can proceed, you know, on this path, you know what I mean, to freedom, independence, or a better life, you know what I mean? Yeah, I watched the movie, man, and I actually ended up liking it. So I did like the movie, homie. You know, we watched the whole movie. So, you know, I told him, yeah, he can't say, did you watch this one? I watched it, bro. I actually enjoyed the movie as well. It had a lot of messages in it too. You know, I was tripping off the Italian gangster, you know, and how they force immigrants to go, you know, get involved in life of crime in a new country or in a country as an immigrant. Excuse me. I would imagine the same thing applies here. You know what I mean? But yeah, I did enjoy the movie, bro, and thank you for that one. That was a good one. That was a good one. Okay, where was I? Yeah, so I did watch that. Poke says, Bub, your plight is 100. Your plight is 100. How do we win without monies being in the right hand? Every president win is based on money. Community money is just as good as any money for the right reason. But I hear you. Again, man, I think, well, first off, let me address the presidency. You know, they go and they raise, man, all this money, man, from people, man, and that shit is it's a scam. The president, you know, and I have to say this, and you can call it my opinion or whatever, but who's going to be president is already decided. And again, the people don't decide who becomes president. So when they raise money for a presidential campaign from the people, they being scammed. That's a scam. That's a scam, man. I don't want to hear, oh, they got a campaign. No, man, they don't, because it's already been decided. In fact, man, the people don't actually vote for a president. The Electoral College does. It's a scam. You know, that's first, you know. Again, they look, man, and this is how a lot of them get rich too. They scam the people. This is how this shit works. That could be considered capitalism. You know, you know, you say every president's win is based on money. That may be so, that may be so. Or based on money, community money is just as good as any money for the right reasons. But I hear you. Yeah. It's just like, again, man, when these politicians, they go on these campaigns, they raise these war chests, man, these millions, tens of millions of dollars, man, to run for a seat, man, that's going to probably bring them back way more than that. You know what I mean? Again, man, it's just a scam, man. Most of them raising money, they get in office, they don't do jack, So I kind of liken what my attitude is about the platform, the scam they ass right back, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? In other words, I won't, I'm gonna play their game, man. You know what I'm saying? In the sense that I'm gonna play by their rules. But my shit, man, it ain't what they think it is. And it's why I know we don't get the algorithm, or we aren't in the algorithm, because we're not playing ball. I'm thinking, okay, we're going to do this, man, the right way. And that's against the get down. You know what I mean? That's against, the algorithm and how this platform is set up. So to me, that's a scam, scamming them. You don't pay me though, and we're going to be able to do what we're going to be able to do. But I don't know, man. When we get to talking about the people and money, man, and stuff like that, man, there's a whole lot to that shit, Pope. There's a whole lot of shit attached to that, man. Man, we got some messed up people, just like they got messed up people. You know what I'm saying? Who do you trust? Who do you trust, man? How do you actually make that shit work? Say, for instance, we did that. Say, for instance, man, it boom, But how do you go about assuring that no one scams the project or the goal, our reason for being out in the community, doing what we think we need to do, doing what we know we need to do? How do we prevent all this? Because when you're talking about large sums of money, man, you're talking about greed now amongst cats. You probably wouldn't think a greedy bone in their body existed. I'm not against that, man. I'm just saying, okay, when it comes to that, let's just make sure everything is above board. That's all I'm saying, man. If we're gonna talk about generating money from the community and shit, okay, man, first, man, they got to be some type of, you got to have a plan for that shit, man, in terms of how you collect it, what it's going to go to, and how it's spent when it goes to where it goes. You know what I mean? How they're going to spend it, we got to, what I mean, man, you got to have certain shit in place, man, to make sure ain't nobody, man, scamming what we are setting out to do for the community. And the first people we got to be aware of, man, and it's sad to say, some are our own. And I hope that makes sense to you, I hope it does, man. I'm just saying, man, yeah, money can be raised, in the community, but man, we better know damn well what the hell we doing. We better make sure, man, not just the right hand, but the right hands are not just in charge of that shit, but man, or dealing with it, man, like it's life and death. Yeah, it's good. We can get that money together and be put to good use, but we got to make sure, man, that is exactly what happens. So I hope I addressed that right, man. Now, normally, if I get something wrong, my mediator, I'll get a look or, something. So I guess I'm all right with that reply. The homie, what it do, man? He said, Bubble, maybe we start for the royal group, the royal congregation, a coffee and conversation segment where we maybe have a cup of coffee and a specific dialogue on a certain present political agenda. That'd be a good way to start it. You know, that'd be a good way to start it. Well, I don't drink coffee, but I imagine I can get some tea or water. You know what I mean? But yeah, we could do that. We're talking about bringing in the RGC into the lives, right? I'm sure that's what you're speaking about. That would be something. That'd be a good start. We ain't gonna name it the tea though, or the coffee. Oh, I'm getting a funny look over there. All right, but yeah, bro, that sounds like something we could do for sure. Just to have the RGC present, man, and involved on that first launch is something, man. Yeah. I bullshit you not, man. It's crazy you say that. Last night I said, damn, man, maybe have a shot of tequila or whatever and salute to the get down, man, after it's all said and done, or before, to bring, we're gonna, for lack of a better term, Christian this thing. You know what I mean? We're gonna bless it. We're gonna salute, to the get out. But I did think about that. I didn't think about coffee or anything like that. But either or, man. Either or. And I pretty much suspect that it's gonna, it will go well. It will go well. And Domi, do I got your hookup? You got the email address? I hope you got the email address, the homie. Send me an email, man. Send me an email. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. And then we can share it with the rest of the RGC, see what they think. Let's see if we can get a consensus, man. And we go about this thing, man, as a unit, I don't know if I'm gonna have to hook up the Zoom. I think I will have to hook up the Zoom as well. Yeah, we'll get to it though, bro. So yeah, if you can email me, man. Let's see if we can come together on that one. All right, M13, peace right back to you, bro. Good to see you up in here, man. You said peace to the people. All right, man. We appreciate you up in here. The RGC, man, is doing well, man. Your presence just make it better, man. We're doing even better. All right, good to see you up in there. Hopefully you and yours are good, man. No complaints, man. You're still living. You're getting it done, man, regardless. But good to see you in here, brother. The homies say also we should have documentary or movie night where we watch a movie off YouTube and discuss it together. Well, we've been doing that already, right? And I don't know if everybody else is going along with your movie suggestions, your movie picks. But I know shit. I know I've been on it, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to disappoint, that would be something too, man. That would be something, man. And come on in on the thing, man. Bring them in and we chopping it up, man. We chopping it up. I got some ideas, man. I got some ideas. But that sounds like a good one right there, bro. I don't have a problem with that. Queen Nzinga said, the homie, that's a great idea. I said a good idea. Queen Nzinga said, that's a great idea. He said, thanks, Queen. All right. All right. Peace to all the kings and queens, RGC, man. I see you, Pope. Queen Nzinga say, we need to make sure we teach our people about structural inequality and systematic racism. And I wonder why you say that. So if you hear me out there, Queen, can you respond to that? Why? Why should we make sure our people are taught about those two subjects right there? The homies say, Bub, even Library Day, maybe go down or a podcast live from the Black Library on El Segundo in downtown. See, them is ideas, man. I don't have a problem with it because, like I said, I'm dedicated and committed to doing whatever needs to be done to get to where we need to be. So some things we talk about, we can start see coming to fruition, coming to being, so I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with none of it. That's a great idea. And it's crazy because me and the wife talked about doing lives. We have an idea actually for one down here, because it's the saddest thing, man, when you come down here and you see what you see. It's the saddest thing, man. And I want to not just document it. I want to just, I don't want to approach nobody per se, because everybody might not be approachable. A lot of, mental issues and shit going on down here, a lot of, drug addiction, but to just, get the footage of it and comment or give commentary to the footage, so that was something we just talked about. Excuse me. Yeah, that was something we just discussed. Excuse me. You go on to say even Museum Day at CAAM California African American Museum on Figueroa Street in King for the RGC Day. Yeah. Ideas abound and they solid. Maybe even take the RGC youth to the museum. See, this is what we're talking about building. See, this is some build. We're talking about building, and I don't have a problem with that. Because, like I said, I think I need to do more. I don't just think it. I know it. I have to do more. I want to be more involved, and that's something I wouldn't have a problem doing, because I wouldn't mind mentoring young Black brothers and sisters. I just don't have an issue with doing that. I would love to do that. I kind of think, highly of myself sometimes, but being real, just straightforward. I think I'd be a good mentor. A good mentor. I think a lot of us will. Brothers like yourselves, all you brothers and sisters in here will be good mentors, and we're needed. So yeah, that's not something I'm against. We got to start putting this shit down, though. M13, said most politicians ain't for us people, and the president is the reflection of the whole system. Corporations running the land. You going to say, M13, we got to peep the farmlands in our areas and start bigger collectives to keep a steady flow of food harvested for the people in case these stores / facilities dwindle. They use a term now, food desert. Most of our communities are that. We depend on people. In our communities, we depend on people to bring foods to the supermarket. Again, your point, solid point. What if? What if the supermarkets closed their doors? Where would we be? So that's a good point, and it's a good suggestion. Go ahead, then, man. Shit. Corporations running everything, y'all, and we are at their mercy. We're at their mercy. These people I just had a thought, man. We're talking about grocery store food, These people put fluoride chlorine in the water. And I think they do it, man, to make us go buy water. Same water that come out the faucet. And to me, that's a scam. I was just thinking about that, man. They put food in these supermarkets, and the food is all GMO. Not only that, did anyone see? Oh my God, what's the name of this program? Anyway, I caught something on social media where they're producing now. They're producing chicken and beef. They're actually they're making it man-made. All right. That just says a whole lot to me, man. One company, they're making boiled eggs, man-made. Not the chicken's egg, but what did you call it? Bioengineered food. Yeah, we got to get together, man. Like you said, get that land, get them farmlands, man, and put in work. Because boy, we are at the mercy of people that don't give a damn about our health, nothing else. Again, you say most politicians ain't for us people, and the president is the reflection of the whole system. Corporations running the land, you know. We got to peep the farmlands in our areas and start bigger collectives to keep a steady flow of food harvested for the people in case these stores / factories dwindle. The homies say, also, man, also petition our black elite to donate to open up a nonprofit shelter to give our poverty-stricken people a second chance at getting on their feet. Another great idea. And my question is, will they help us? You know, will they help us? I imagine some would, but only if or only when they're able to discern or determine that what we're pushing or what we're about is legit. You know? Yeah. Yeah. It's high time, man. A lot of them, you know, we approach a lot of them, man, but only when we got our shit together, we are able to approach them correctly with plans. You know what I'm saying? We didn't, you know, we got it already there for them to, you know, go over. But it's high time, man, that some of them gave back. You know, that some of them gave back. You know. All right, Lisa Moore, good to see you in here, sister. Home Queen has made it. She said, hey, brothers and sisters. She said, hey, big bro, blessings to you and the family. Happy Thursday. I hope all is well. Peace and love to the kings and queens in the chat. B1, people. B1, black first, y'all. We can't say that enough, y'all, for real. You know, saying AI already tried too. AI will give you what they will allow it. That's right. Them is facts, man. They're not gonna equip AI with all that they know, or that all with all they have stored away, locked away, hidden, obscure. You know, they're not gonna AI tell everything quick. AI tell everything quick lickety split, man. You know, so they're not gonna do that. Yeah. The homie say, not always, bub. You can ask certain things of AI and it will respond accordingly to your question. For instance, ask it, what did Chea Ante Diop specialize in? It would tell you. But of course it will. But of course it will, because that's in the books. That part is in the books. You know what I mean? But I think that, see, there's certain information. That's all I'm saying, the homie. There's a lot of information, particular parts of information, knowledge, education, that they're not gonna impart to AI or put in AI for AI to answer us about things that, again, that are obscure, that are hidden away. That's just not what they're gonna do. You could put any of our people, authors, man, scientists, physicists, doctors, you know, in there. They'll put that in there. They'll put that in there, you know. And of course, AI, because it's in there, yeah, they're going to dispatch that information to us, you know. But when we're talking about just real, you know, not just specific, you know, things, you know, or information or education, but specific information, education, you know, AI is not going to be able to answer it, because they did not equip AI with that understanding, that knowledge that's hidden away. Again, they got stuff in the Vatican, man, that'll never see the light of day from our people. You know, same go for the United States, same go for Britain, Spain, France, all these major Western powers, man. All these European nations have our knowledge. They have our education. they have our purpose locked away, they would never expose AI to that information. That would, that wouldn't make sense, you know. But if you're talking about Diop, what he specialized in, and yeah, his works are public. You know what I mean? His works are public, so that wouldn't be a hard pitch or anything hard for AI to dispense to us. That information is readily given. Is given. But there's information that they're not going to give AI to give to us. They haven't given it to us. Why would they give it to AI to give to us? That's all I'm saying. So in that respect, I don't trust AI because it can't tell you everything. It can't tell you, especially the things we know. However, we don't have access to them, that knowledge or education because it's locked away. So I don't trust AI to be able to tell me that. It just can't, Alonzo said, never trust the devil. 13, said, shout out to the brother who invented it. Yeah, that was David Blackwell. So, and I did a small piece on him on All Things Politics 26. And who knew? Who'd have thunk it? That a black man created AI, artificial intelligence. And see, they've been working with this stuff since the 40s and 50s, but only because, the 50s, only because he had the wherewithal, the knowledge to understand that could be something that could be used or applied, in the future. Without him, coming up with the idea to create artificial intelligence, they wouldn't have it. We wouldn't have it. Yeah. So shout out to David Blackwell for sure. 13, says shout out to the brother who invented it. We got a lot of intelligent indigenous people, so-called black natives. They steal black intellect and copy and bury the true great minds if they got melanin. And we know this, they've written, written books on it. Stolen Legacy, shit like that, we've had authors, Francis Welch Cressing and others who have written about the theft of our intellect, of our intellectual property. We got people in this world who, what they say that Aristotle is the father of philosophy or something like that. You know what I mean? Pluto is the father of this. You know what I mean? Just stolen, intellect. They take credit for it. Anything that the black man created, man, if they can steal it and claim it for their own, they will. It's just what they do, So that's no surprise, man. Anything that a melanated human being brought to the table will be taken or stolen if they can get away with it. Okay. The homie say, but you have to basically know the answer. All right. All right. Murray Bubba Johnson said, shout out from Texas. God bless y'all. Shout right back out to you, Murray, and to Texas, man, the great state of Texas. Peace and blessings, bro. Hopefully you and yours are well, man. All right. Good to see you up in there also, bro. Good to see you back. The homie going to say, first you said, but you have to basically know the answer or have some understanding to know what AI says. I'm just saying, this is my argument, bro. And I'm gonna leave it alone. Do you really think that they will put everything they know about us into AI? Even if we knew what to ask, they wouldn't do that, man. They just wouldn't do it, you know? Some tell the lies that when they went to the Library of Alexandria, they burned all the books. Ptolemy and Alexander the Great, they burned up. Don't believe that shit. Rome has all that shit. They're all kind of stuff, man. And I don't know. I get what you're saying, man, but I'm telling you, man, even if we knew it, even if we knew what to ask, they're not gonna put it in there, man. You know, and then they're gonna try to figure out how the hell did you even know that? And they got it locked away. Might become knocking at your door. I don't know. I'm just saying. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's it. I agree with that. And that's all it is, you know what I mean? And that's common, common basic knowledge, that AI has available to those who will ask a question. Some people don't know the exact thing to ask, but they can say it in the right way. AI can determine what you're asking and say, hey, yeah, this, I could be like, hey man, I don't know the first 10 black doctors in the United States. Who are they? AI would say boom, 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 boom. Because I think it, to a great extent, to a large extent, that knowledge that's in there. Um 13, said, come on, man, FDA got us using petroleum 5 billion ways. Yeah. And speaking of petroleum and stuff of that nature, I didn't know that Crisco oil is really not a cooking grease. But they sell it and people fry food in it. It's a chemical compound, part of a little petroleum in it, but it's for machines. It's to keep machines lubricated, but they sell it to people for people to consume because you're eating it. Yeah. Margarine. But the FDA allows them to make and sell margarine. Black people love margarine, just like they do love Crisco oil. Crisco oil was created as an industrial compound to keep machines lubricated. And somebody came up with a bright idea and said, let's sell it, to consumers. They can fry food in it. It's oil. I don't know, man. Yeah, man. The homie said you can ask AI to give you certain source material and it must obey your request as long as you know. Yeah. Pope Mitchell says AI is human intelligence. AI is human intelligence. It is our thoughts and knowledge of things. But I do understand that a mind is a terrible thing to waste and not to let AI turn us into robots. Yeah, they say AI is human intelligence. Listen, AI is their intelligence. They put that shit in there. Artificial intelligence. And their intelligence is very artificial. It ain't theirs to begin with. What they call theirs in terms of intelligence is stolen, man. It ain't theirs. So artificial intelligence is a good name, I think, to give, a technology like that, But I get it though, man. And that's another thing. Yeah, we're being led astray, I think. We're becoming more dependent on technology rather than ourselves. Great point, Pope. I hear you. You know, I don't disagree with that. Queen Nzinga said, never underestimate the enemy. Please don't. All right, Al. Al Thomas in the house, everybody. Yeah. Peace and blessings, bro. Good to see you. You're going to say AI is artificial intelligence, not human intelligence. Thank you. Thank you. 13, says I'm laughing my ass off for real. Not playing about my coins. Man, we shouldn't. Al Thomas says, salutations to you, Bub and Queen Nzinga and the entire RGC. I hope everyone had a productive day. Be one across the board. Black first, black excellence, man. There you go. M13 said they got their side tax and can't go for that. Yeah. There you go. They got their side tax and can't go for that. Skolester 7901 says Groove Truth. This is all right, man. Under Groove Podcast, man, and we are touching bases with the people, man. Let's do it like this because this is the only way we do it, man. We keep everything above board, man. All right. And this again, man, the beauty of the Royal Group congregation is this. We have intelligent brothers and sisters up in here. And if something isn't right, brothers know how to say, hey, correction, or this is that, or that is this. And we do it in such a way that there's no reason for anyone's feathers to be ruffled. You know what I mean? Because it's respect. It's respect. It's done respectfully. You know what I mean? Everything is above board, nothing underhanded here. So that's just to get down, man. You know, that's how we get down, man. You know, truth to power. Truth to power, man. And I think this is what we're missing in our communities. Truth. We aren't dispensing truth, man. Again, we go out. Your crazy self. I mean, sometimes I be holding it in, man. I be wanting to laugh because you be on one. y'all ain't gonna understand. I gotta tell you. All right. But yeah, oh my God. Oh, are you serious? Okay. Anyway, oh shit. Alonzo Johnson said it. And oh, wait a minute, y'all. All right. Alonzo Johnson say, and they still doing it to this day, man. That's the truth. Queen Nzinga says, Al Thomas, greetings. How are you and the family this evening, King? All right, Pope. Jumping in there again. I love it, man. You say, Al, how are you and the family? I'm saying the AI come from our thoughts with some AI, the better. The question from some AI, the better the question, the better the answer. Some people feel that all the knowledge that they need is in the streets, and some feel they need to go to college to get it. You know, I think education, man, comes from some everywhere, you know, but there are different qualities, I think, of education, different levels. To start. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Is that okay? All right. Dang. All right. Come on, because we're being serious here. Ain't nothing wrong with you laughing. I love when you laugh. Anyway, but I get what you're saying, Pope. Yeah. Again, though, it's a little bit of everything, come from a little bit everywhere. You silly. Al Thomas said, I'm certainly not opposed to tech, but when it comes to some AI, specifically Chat GPT, I lean on my intellect first. I've corrected Chat GPT on several occasions. And that's what I'm saying. I was telling you guys earlier in the week, it was probably last week. That thing said something, and I knew that was some bullshit. And then I rephrased it another way, and it changed it, and I did it again and changed, and all the way to, and I copied it. So while I was going through it, I wouldn't let it, I didn't want it to just go away. I just kept diving deeper. And the deeper I dived, the more it changed its answer, and I was like, oh, this is some bullshit. Anyway. Yeah, man. I appreciate hearing that though, Al. Yeah. Skolester said, don't just talk about the African slaves, talk about black people to remember blacks. Hide African slaves. Yeah. We need FUBU to come back LA style. Where you at, man? Let me read that again, Skolester. You said, don't just talk about the African slaves, talk about black people to remember blacks. To remember blacks, hide African slaves. We need FUBU to come back LA style. I remember when FUBU came out. Yeah. Yeah. FUBU was very, very popular. But what happened to FUBU? Did he sell it? Did they got bought out, or did they got read? Yeah. FUBU was the shit. And that actually started what you would call, or what they called ghetto wear, or could it be labeled cultural wear? You know what I mean? Man. Yeah, bring FUBU back. Al said, that's true, Pope. Chat GPT is only as good as the question being asked, i.e. garbage in, garbage out. Alonzo Johnson says, land is definitely a part of the deal. Let's hope so. I would like to have my parcel right along with my money. Real shit. Free healthcare and education. Yeah, they supposed to, I think all that should be a part of it. Education, healthcare, things of that nature, housing, that would be a good look. Our people can use all, well, not just use all, our people deserve all that we or they have coming. You know what I mean? Our people. Skolester says, but that land doesn't belong to the African slaves. That land belongs to the indigenous blacks. So who gets it? But see, that's the thing too. The indigenous blacks, they were here before the colonizers, and yet a lot of them also went into slavery. They come from Africa. They got here. You know what I'm saying? It's just some were here before others. But they're all African descendants. Ended up in a land where shit went all bad. Those indigenous Africans, man, a lot of them were took into captivity, into slavery as well, man. Free men were it didn't matter. It didn't matter, man. So, but who gets it first? I don't think that should be, well, the question was anything after 1865, all right? I don't know if Alonzo is including or is willing to say, yeah, even those Africans who are already here and as a result ended up being slaves, you know what I mean? All the land, I don't think that they occupied all the land. I just, ain't no telling. But whatever parts of land that Africans who were brought here as slaves, man, ended up on, then that land sure, surely can be claimed. That's something we, can surely claim as, a reason for reparations, because we built that land. We tilled the soil. We built, the infrastructure, the whole thing. We built the country. So we no doubt we got a stake in this, man. Whether you're here already or whether you got here off a damn slave ship, we all have a stake, a claim to this shit. Us, though. We have to delineate us. Make sure, man, like the brother said, the lineage. You got to be from the lineage. But that was a good one, the whole Skolester. That one would call for debate right there for sure. Poke said, Bub, it's crazy that one white man owned Bub, it's crazy that one white man owned only the millions of acres, but the mountains too. Damn, all that shit count. You know, all that shit. You know, and they ain't doing nothing with it. They ain't doing nothing with it. Make you wonder what kind of natural resources is up in that shit too. All right, that's another thing. You know, they got geologists that know where shit is. You know what I mean? That might be another reason. You know, for them not want to, you know, give parcels of land. It's no telling, man. Yeah. Al says, salute to you, Poke. I know you're ready. He said the family's well. I sincerely hope that yours is also. All right. Alonzo said, you're right. You got to respect the young brother in Burkina Faso. Y'all just think about that, man. All three of them. Mali just checked the U.S. government yesterday, I think. You know, the U.S. tried to, you know, sidle its way back up in there and said, hey, you know, we want to work with you guys, man. In terms of security issues and economics. You know, we want to work with you guys with terrorism and economics. We see that you guys are doing a great job with terrorism. We want to get the hell out of here, man. They did that without y'all help. Why would they think that they would need them now? You know what I mean? Get the job done. In spite of all the shit that they've been throwing at them to make sure that they don't succeed. You know, now here come America talking about, hey, is everything cool? We want to have relations, you know, political or diplomatic relations with y'all. We want to make money together now. Man, you try to starve our people, man. You sanctioned us. You tried to sanction us to death. Yeah, man, get the hell out of here. I love how they getting down, man. I just do. I love it. Skolessa say Blackfeet tribe say Black African slaves to Black Africans deserve reparations first. The Blackfeet tribe saved Black African slaves to Black Africans deserve, or do Black Africans deserve reparations first? I just think, man, if you were a slave, man, you came from Africa and you were a slave in those times, your people, you know, the lineage points to that. Those are the people who should get reparations, you know? And so you guys know, there's also talk about the Indian owing reparations to the Blacks also, to African Americans also. I just saw that in the news. So I think that's going to become a contentious point, you know, whether or not the Indians are going to pay reparations to Blacks. We'll see. Fire show, bub. Skolessa said, or do Black indigenous deserve it first? Which ones we are together, but we are divided. I had to buy the white man, gangs, religion, or other, but it's always all in the head. They were divided. It's not in the blood. It's not in the skin. It is not in the culture. It is not in a religion. All the ways it's in the head, dividing some difference. Groove needs to frontline. If you're talking about this frontline, Groove needs to stop fighting. No more AKs. It's about EB, everybody. And I'm thinking we're talking about Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. We need Groove. We need hogs. Okay. Well, he's talking about the fight, the battle to come. Yeah, I get it. Al Thomas say I'm good with just the financial payment. I'll buy my own land, healthcare and education. Yeah, the more that asks for it, the less we'll get. That's true. Some have proposed free healthcare, other free higher education. Yeah, those two were mentioned: free healthcare and education. First and foremost, though, is the reparations in the financial form, or the monetary for money. You know, land was mentioned also. You're right The more we want to pile some shit on, the more reluctant they'll become, or they'll be, in terms of just, trying to see us with anything, actually. If you're talking that, though, just the money, what's sufficient? What do you think is sufficient, Al? How much? Is 500,000 a piece good enough? Is a million? Is 1.5? What would, sit well, you think, with the people? Or what is sufficient? Yeah. What could, if we're talking about payment or being compensated for this, what would that number look like? All right. Skolester said, what we need is to stump down, and no more stump down on Bloods or Crips or Mexican Latinos. Everybody needs to be as one, and we need Groove on the front line. I think you said the front line, but anyway, if Groove say stop, everything will stop, Groove. Just got to say it. Yeah. Al Thomas says, if and when reparations are given, it'll be one, maybe two of the before mentioned. Highly unlikely it'll be all. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Again, they're going to fight tooth and nail anyway, just on the monetary aspect of it, and if they should decide to give us the monetary amount of monetary compensation or reparations, hey man, we might be in for a rude awakening. Because that thing might drop to 100,000 a piece, 250,000. It ain't no telling. Ain't no telling, man. M13, said here before Columbus, a good book. They called us swarthy and tawny back in those days to describe natives who were brown skin / dark skin, but Nagget's been here and selling the whole world before any colonizer. All right. Al said, man, I've traced both sides of my family lineage to the mid 1860s in America. Man, my wife was helping me, man. Huh? 1820. Yeah, my wife's family been in, 1820. My wife was helping me trace mine, man, and oh my God, I found out all kind of shit, man. A long time, a long time. 18 what? So I was just proud to know that, my people, not that they were slaves or were, treated the way they were, but the fact that they have been here for so long, I had visited, my home state a couple of years ago, Oklahoma City to be exact. And man, the stories they were telling about my grandfather and my great grandfather was like, damn, for real. I walked through the door and they was like, oh shit, you look just like Sammy. And they started telling me about Sammy, and then started telling me about my great grandfather. I'm like, damn, all right, cool, man, So I was actually, man, I be telling my wife, no, I ain't tripping that shit, but she talked me into it. So I was actually shit, proud, man, shit, about where I came from, who I came from, man. So, it was a good look for me, man. And, it was a good look, man. Yeah, man. Good thing there. The homie said, happy to hear you saw it. All right. Alonzo, man, said, that's not important in our reparations claim. My family came over on the slave ships, documented. Yeah. I think that, if you got the lineage, man, you trace it back, man. That's all that matters, man. M13, said El Seminoles, president of Colombia, said black-skinned people are true people of Americas. Yeah, there's a lot of literature on that, man. And if you pay attention, if you really pay attention, there seems to be a campaign to discredit how long we've been here, not just a campaign to discredit, but an erasure, of our lineage, man, our heritage here, the people who were here long before a whole lot of others, who claim or profess to have been here first. But all that is coming out now, for what reason, I don't know, but it is. Alonzo John said, you could say you already here. That don't got nothing to do with reparations. Were your family enslaved in this country? That's what matters. And again, yeah, I'm pretty sure mine were. My wife's family were. I have a good point there. Yeah, that's a good point. 13, said, we want reparations and the land is my focal point. That's our shit. And that's what I'm saying too. Again, yeah, the financial reparations, if it just comes to that, okay, yeah, great. But come on, yeah. Give us the land too. In fact, take away the education, because I'm not, anybody in their right mind wouldn't allow them to educate us again. Why would you? Or treat us in terms of our health. You get this stuff, man. Just to say, for instance, you get the reparations, man. And you have to go in the hospital, man. They kaput. You see kids in school, man. They come home worse off than they went before they went. You know what I mean? I wouldn't trust them. I wouldn't trust them at all. He said, "Get him, bub." Al says, man, if you are able to trace your lineage prior to the mid 1860s, you are a very lucky individual, because the vast majority of us cannot. And that is because a lot of records were destroyed. All right. A lot of documentation was purposely destroyed as well. And I think if not destroyed, they have them. The federal government. Again, this is shit they got, man. And again, if they don't have it, then they destroyed it intentionally, and this would be a way for them to say, well, if we can't trace, if we can't find documentation of you being enslaved, then hey, you kind of asked out, buddy, but I think also what may come into play is the terror of living through, not just slavery, but after the fact as well. That might play into the equation also. Again, the federal government having a hand in Jim Crow laws, the lynchings, the terror that they, placed at the feet and front doors of Black people. That may come into play. It could very well come into play. All right, I think I'm gonna put you on timeout, bruh. Huh? Well, then, come on. You might be going through something. Alonzo John said, peace out, Thomas, to you and your family, brother. Polk said, man, who do B1s trust? B1s? Yeah. 13, says the language we use is a factor to how we navigate. If we state we Blacks are owned and this is our land and resources, etc., corporate interests took the benefits of the people. There you go. We got to get programs for us, by us. And again, I think slavery won't just play a part and reparations, all the things again that was done after the fact, especially in times of Reconstruction and shit like that, sharecropping, shit like that, redlining, all the shit. Federal government had a hand in keeping us down. You know what I mean? They did a lot of things intentionally. It was racial. And I think that also plays a part in this reparations issue. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's just based on slavery. I think slavery is, you know, the underlying issue here, but there are other issues that compound the experience or the horrific shit our people went through, you know, the atrocities after the fact that the federal government actually played a role in. So that's going to come into play regardless. That's going to come into play. Good point there. You know, good point. Pope said, do you think the Black Panthers use their money right? But you're right. We damn sure have to have it in the right hands. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. There's a lot of gaps, man. I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. And I don't think it was a matter of mismanagement of funds in that organization either, you know? The FBI, according to the federal government, they just, you know, I don't think it was a matter of mismanaging money. It was a matter of they were making grand strides. They were helping too many Black people. That's what I think. All right. Well, Queen Nzinga says she traced hers back to 1820. Was y'all slaves though? Maybe she'll answer that. Poke said, commentator blesses you. I feel Bub is on point. The homie says, send me the email, Bubble. Okay. Shit, that's a damn shame. I got to do this every time I need to get that email. Too much shit, man. Okay. All right. Boom. And boom. Okay. Here you go. And I just did this the other day. Did I do that right? Yeah. All right, it's in there. Damn, why them all caps? But there you go, though. All right. Yeah, man. So I sent that, bro. You say Family Search will find articles, death certificates, marriage certificates. It really helps. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna put him on ice right now because, huh? Hey, I see you, Skolester. I hear you, man. Right now, you know, we have discussions about ICE, man. But right now, we're talking about something, you know, that most of us want to talk about in the chat. Now, and if anybody in the chat want to drop, you know, something about ICE in there, them leaving Minnesota or whatever the case may be, they're more than welcome to do it, bro. All right. But respect to get down, you know what I'm saying? You know, just keep it above board, man. I'm pretty sure everybody see a comment right there. And this is how we get down, man. People want to comment on that, they will, you know. Well, and if that's the case, if it's me you want to comment on it, right now our focus is, and we started this get down right here, talking about reparations, because we think, you know, there's something we should focus on. There's something we should focus on. You know, ICE is a focus. ICE has been a focus on this channel, something we do talk about, but that ain't today. You know, now, again, if chat jumps in on it, hey, man, I don't have a problem with it. I will respond, you know, or they will as well. So, you know, it's here for the conversation. You know, you dropped it in there, and trust and know that it being in there, somebody can comment on it, brother. So, you know, no worries there. Up there you go right there. Al Thomas say, what exactly would you like to talk about concerning ICE agents? You know, 13, you know, said, come on, man, great ideas, y'all. Okay, yeah, I'll be meeting Tank. Okay, man. Okay, I'm coming. All right, hey, what it do, James? What's up with you, bro? Damn, you just coming in? He must took a little break or something. Oh shit. I caught that right on time. That thing running at you. Okay. He must be taking a break. You must took a break or something. The homie say Don King has a pregnant lady shelter on 88th and Broadway, I think. Damn, I didn't know that. Con artist Don. Queen Nzinga said, because it's about arming ourselves with truth, power, and protection. Queen Nzinga goes on to say structural inequality are the laws, policies, and institutions that were designed to give advantage to theirs and disadvantage ours. And that was in response to, yeah. It's man, how many days? I'm so far behind. Oh my God. Let me catch up, man. I'm going all the way to the end, y'all. James said, no, Bub, I literally just walked through the door half an hour ago. So he wasn't in there already. Scolet said, exactly. I don't have to agree with you neither, but if you don't have to respect what I say, even if it comes up with the algorithm wrong, look up what I'm saying and make sure I'm telling the truth. That I don't think that's the point. That's neither here nor there. Whatever anybody in the RGC put in the get down, bro, is what more than likely will be discussed. Now, because I started out talking about reparations, that does not mean that that's where the conversation has to stay. You know what I mean? It's more the RGC responding to your comments to get this conversation that you want to get going, you know? So it's still, regardless how you see it, it's still about respect. It's still about acknowledging that you're in there, bro. You know, when, you know, you're not being ignored. You know what I mean? You're more than welcome to be in here, bro. Oh, ain't no big thing, James, man. And I'm reading from the bottom up, y'all, because I'm so far behind this get down, man. It's crazy. James says, nobody has to agree with me or anything I have to say. Just know I love you and I hope your heart and mine are in the right place for our people. We need each other in this world. Truest words, man. Haven't been spoken, man. All right. Scola says, don't be mad. Just give us his old or something on that true shit T, that code agency. All right. All right. Yeah. All right. Hey, everybody. You know, I didn't got that look too many times now. I listen, man, and this is to everybody in the RGC, man. For those of you just came tonight, man, we appreciate you guys coming and gracing, you know, this platform, or gracing us with your time, man. We appreciate that wholeheartedly. Listen, this thing it's about the people, you know. It's about the people. The title of this thing is touching bases with the people. That's what it is, you know. And being that this is supposedly Black History Month, you know, it might be, you know, the suggestion or the direction of the Royal Group congregation to talk about those issues that affect us. You know what I mean? That's not to say that we will not or we do not discuss other issues that would or that probably will end up affecting us at some point. That's not what we're saying. You're more than willing. This goes for all of you to say what you like to say, what you want to say. But again, all that is required is that you keep it respectful. That's it, you know? So that being said, more power to each and every one of you. Power is in the people. Love yourself so that you can love someone who may be in need of love but don't know it. You know, treat yourself right so that when you come in contact with others, you'll know how to treat them. All right? That's the get down, man. That's the get down. This is Touching Bases with the People. Like, share, comment, and subscribe if you see fit. All right? One love, man. One love, man. One unity, you know, one motion, one movement. Black first, man. It's the only way it's going to get done, man, if we put ourselves first in the driver's seat. All right? So you are, you have been, and you will be under the groove. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other, all right? Power is in the people. Have a good night, people.
Count the names, count the bodies, count the victory. Cullen Hughes, Hurston writing future history. From the Apollo to the borough to the sphere, where the echo of those Harlem nights still ringing clear. So when they ask what happened in those tenement flats, between the spirituals and where consciousness is at, tell them we transformed suffering to scholarship and song. Tell them we've been telling you we're brilliant all along. The Renaissance or prologue, every decade since the sequel. Every black child born's continuation of the people who survived the Middle Passage, survived the Jim Crow laws, and built magnificence from nothing but their vision and their flaws. That's in the sergeant, this is once a less than actors, actors, and reciters. Please don't you, I can't stop us. Power sensitive, watch you the applause for polls. Need your data, tropes, and constantly problem when the wet just wanna build the season bait. Now don't get the pause. It's just erasing up the times. Plead the market soft the main. Make it on the fans. Turn the neck and love the durn. Suffer sacrifice. You went wrong to preaching up on side as each alone. Bitch on the shit and untrue seeing vet someone that varied in from Gary Land. Be hell in heaven, you see what the Bonavir. If wait something for the marker, make the key to pull the club and saw the lords to the Sanger land is carried open. Slowly keep us looking on my mother. Break your channel, resi for the he and let the visit be. It's every time we keep a spawn.